Hey guys, I wanted to do a vlog this time, and to go over something that I could explore in animation and rotoscoping, or just a nice filter. So my buddy Skadjer, who is a brilliant artist and animator, had thought of something that probably came out of some late night drinking, some wee night pontifications. That's not anything dirty. Uh, the concept was something that made me actually take a step back and think, wow, that's something I didn't really think about and is worth discussing for the internets to see. So the point he wanted to make was, have you ever noticed that weird names, weird location names, these unique, strange, goofy names, no matter where they are in fiction or nonfiction, tend to be accepted by people? And he's right. And the funny thing about it is that, yeah, if you think about Star Wars, like planet names, in fiction in this case, science fiction, planets like Kashyyyk and Mustafar and Hoth and Alderaan, nobody goes, oh, that's a stupid name. Now, you could. Literally, George Lucas once couldn't think of what the origin planet was for Obi-Wan Kenobi because it never occurred to him. So here he was talking to Jon Stewart, and boom, it's now Stu John. Look it up, it's canon. But it's like people have the benefit of the doubt. If you're going around somewhere and you see something that says, this doghouse is called Arf to Arf Arf, you're not going to question it because, well, yeah, maybe that is what a house for a dog would sound like if there was such a thing as dog language that could be read and studied with syntax and grammar, and you could form sentences and thusly strange names for locations. So, people do want to overthink that stuff, and it's something that nobody goes around and criticizes it for. There's lots of things in life we criticize. We criticize the way things look. We criticize the way things feel. We criticize something that's supposed to have an A, B, and C, but instead somebody did GHI. And yet, people don't criticize those kinds of names, no matter how odd they are. I did a video of this on Instagram, and it went like this. My buddy Skadjer, with a very interesting name, pointed out something I hadn't thought of, which was, we were doing that a lot. We were like, hey, did you ever notice this? And he said, I really love that the world will accept planet names, alien names, what have you, character names, and it could be the most ridiculous name ever. It could be Arf Marmardarf, and people accept it. I mean, there's a number of things like that in fiction, like in Lovecraftian planet terms, there's a planet named Yogoth. It sounds like a Russian yogurt, but nobody questions it. So if you meet some singer and his name is Engelbert Humperdinck, his stage name, you don't question it. You never know. It could be a foreign name. Like, I made a point about this in the Insta story once, that you could be going to a country named Badonkadonk, and if you're educated enough in geography, you'll know that Badonkadonk is not the name of a country, but Djibouti is the name of a country, an actual country. You could be going to a country named Slovenia, which is a real country, but nearby Slobovia doesn't exist. And I think that's one of the reasons is language barriers. I think people give each other the benefit of the doubt because they might think it's a reference of something. Like if you're going to go to Rurapente, the Klingon prison planet, in Star Trek VI The Undiscovered Country, it's actually a reference to Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, where Captain Nemo is sent to a fictional island prison by the Empire, and it's called Rurapente. Nicholas Meyer, the director, wanted to make a reference to that, and it fits Star Trek with its somewhat other Latin-based fictional locations. So it's kind of like you're walking down the street and you meet somebody and he says his name is Jukebox Mallory, and you go, oh, pleased to meet you, Jukebox Mallory. The other person going up on the street would say something like, hello, my name is Dr. Scratch and Sniff. That is entirely possible. There could be names out there in Europe, maybe Southeast Europe, where somebody has a strange name like that. But in this case, we'll just go with this beloved Animaniacs character name, and then we will have a conversation with this person and not discuss why they haven't changed their name into something that's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. It's actually pretty great that this person is rocking the name. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger decided he did not want to change his last name to Strong, as in his stage name Arnold Strong, for a few years. He kept Schwarzenegger. He decided he was not going to go as Arnold Schwartz. He decided he was going to go by his actual full name. And I believe starting a trend to embrace the unusual name versus someone like Marion Morrison, which was John Wayne's actual name, and not rocking his original name. In those days, they wanted people to reinforce a brand. And in John Wayne's case, aka the Duke, it was all about a tough guy brand. But now you can have somebody around with an unusual name. So you're trading formalities.
Hi, you're J. Edgar Hooter.
And you're Felix Lang. Sit down. I have some data for you. Let's discuss how easy it is for people to get along despite our uniqueness.
So again, I have to reiterate how cool that is. We can accept a weird, fangled name, and that's completely okay. Like, why would we as people be so discriminatory against all these other things, and yet, and that might be the best I can say about that. I do think there's one rule to that. Don't come up with a fictional name or name yourself or name a thing something offensive if there's no humor to it. Don't call yourself Adolf or your animal Adolf, or don't call it Jefferson Davis' son. That's not funny. But if you can try to find a way to keep it creative, maybe there's a reference in there, people might dig it. Alright guys, that's the vlog for now. Hope you have fun, stay safe out there. The world may get a little sad, but it's gonna be okay. The world endures.